All right, everyone. Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about Brent Fikowski.
Oh, yeah.
Big news dropped just last week.
Yeah, huge.
Brent Fikowski, he is retiring.
Yeah, it's pretty shocking considering, he just got third at the CrossFit Games.
I know, yeah. 2024 CrossFit Games.
Like just a couple months ago.
Third place.
And he's been top 4 consistently.
He's on a tear.
Oh, for like 2 years, yeah. North America West semifinals, TYR, Wodapalooza, Rogue, Dubai, like
All of them.
he was on the podium for almost all of those.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he said he feels the fittest he's ever been, and his coach has said that they've kind of like cracked the code
Crack the code.
for his training and his fitness and everything like that.
So why
retire now?
Why now? I think that's the question on everybody's mind.
I know.
It's like you're watching a movie and like
You're about to get to the good part.
they just cut it off right before the climax. Well, so apparently he had this meeting with his idol,
Right.
Joshua Medcalf.
Who wrote the book Chop Wood Carry Water?
Mm-hmm.
And
CrossFit following, yeah.
Yeah, and they were talking, and Medcalf's like, what you got to do is you got to pursue what sets your soul on fire.
Okay, yeah. So he's like, all right, time to spark some joy in my life, right? Get rid of the clutter.
That's it, yeah. And it turns out for Brent Fikowski, what that is the PFAA, the Professional Fitness Athletes Association.
Gotcha.
He's been super involved with them. He feels like that's where he can make the biggest difference. And, he even said, I need to focus all my efforts on helping make the PFAA a success for the future of these athletes.
Okay, so it's not really retiring. It's more like redirecting his passion and his energy into this other thing that's important to him. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But, retiring CrossFit, that's different than retiring in other sports.
Yeah, if you think about like a football player, if they retire,
They're done.
They're done.
That's it. But in CrossFit, there's this weird thing where they can just kind of come back whenever they want.
Yeah, like you remember
Scott Panchik.
Back in 2022.
2022, and then he ended up competing in the semifinal.
Yeah. Yeah, Fikowski even joked about athletes like Favre and Brady, where it's like
They can't
quit.
Yeah.
So is Fikowski going to pull a Favre or a Brady?
Well, from what he said, no. He said that he's adamant about not accidentally qualifying for the 2025 games. He's even said he doesn't plan to do the Open.
Oh, wow.
He's going to like really cut back his training. He's talking about doing like 60 to 90 minutes a day in the gym.
So it's not like he's not working out.
No, it's like this is his job now.
His new job.
The PFAA. That's it.
The PFAA, yeah. Well, to really like understand this whole thing, we need to go back to the beginning.
The beginning. Where did it all start for Brent Fikowski?
So rewind all the way back to 2013.
Okay.
He goes to the Australia Regional. He's only 22 years old, and he gets 6th place, which he even said was like overachieving.
Okay, not bad for a rookie, right?
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. But unfortunately, the next 2 years, he was heartbreaking.
Yeah, he had some tough years there.
Yeah, 2014, 2015, both times he missed the games by 1 spot.
Oh, wow.
Which is brutal.
Brutal.
Yeah, he even started questioning if his height...
He's a taller guy, right?
Yeah, he's 6'2", so he was like, is this even the right sport for me? Am I built for this,
Yeah.
There's a lot of shorter, more powerful athletes in CrossFit.
It's hard to be a taller athlete in CrossFit.
Yeah, he even thought about switching to rowing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was at a crossroads.
Okay.
But thankfully, he stuck with CrossFit.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
But 2016, that's like the year it all changed for him, right?
That's the year, yeah. 2016.
What happened?
He wins the West Regional in dominant fashion.
Oh, wow.
Qualifies for the games, goes to the games, and finishes 4th.
As a rookie.
As a rookie.
Wow, that's impressive.
Talk about bursting onto the scene.
I know, yeah.
And that was the start of a 9-year run, qualifying for the games every single year.
That's incredible.
He went from this hopeful rookie to a mainstay at the CrossFit Games.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. He didn't really do a lot of off-season competitions until like 2022.
Yeah.
It seemed like he just focused on
He was so
the
focused.
games.
Yeah, laser focused on the CrossFit Games.
And it seemed like it worked for him.
Yeah. And then, of course, he did win the ELL Fit CrossFit Championship in 2022, which was his first individual off-season win.
Gotcha.
And then he's done a bunch of the other ones since then, Dubai, Wodapalooza, Rogue.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's wild how he just focused on the games for so long.
Well, so like looking back at his career,
Yeah.
what do you think he's most proud of?
when you hear him talk about it,
Yeah.
it's not about any specific win or any specific, trophy or anything like that. I think what he's most proud of is his growth mindset. The lessons that he's learned throughout his career. He always talks about his comeback in 2021.
Yeah, what happened in 2021?
He got third place,
Okay.
which was great, but the 2 years before that, he had like his worst finishes at the games.
Oh, okay.
So to come back and get third,
He bounced back.
he bounced back in a big way.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, and you hear these stories from him about like sharing a laugh with Jason Hopper in the middle of this grueling event, or joining Ben Smith and all those guys trying to help Ben Smith get to the finish line in that bike event at the 2018 games.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those are the things that really stand out to him.
Those little moments of camaraderie.
Yeah, the camaraderie, the friendships that he's made.
It's more than just competition.
It's more than just competition. And
Yeah.
I think that's what he'll remember the most.
That's awesome. So as he steps away, how do you think he wants to be remembered?
Well, he said that, sports are just like unscripted storytelling. And the audience, they get to interpret the meaning.
Okay.
So he's basically saying, like, I've done my best.
Yeah.
I've put it all out there.
You decide what you think.
You decide what you think. He just hopes that he's, quote, put on a bit of a show.
And I think it's safe to say he's done that.
He has, yeah.
But before we move on to unpack more of this journey,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with a question. How do you view his legacy? What stands out to you most from Brent Fikowski's time in CrossFit? We'll be right back.
It's funny to think about those 2 years that he didn't make it to the games,
Oh, yeah?
2014 and 2015.
Missed it by one spot.
He said if he had made it either of those years,
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't think he would have the same longevity or
Right.
success.
Wow.
He was like, had I made it in 2014 or had I made it in 2015, I don't think that I would have had the same success or longevity in my athletic career.
That's kind of crazy to think about.
I know. So he sees those as blessings in disguise.
That's pretty powerful to be able to
Yeah.
look at those
Yeah.
failures
Yeah.
as
Reframe it.
reframe it.
Yeah. And I think that's something we can all learn from,
Yeah, for sure. But, he did eventually crack the code.
Mm-hmm.
They cracked the code, yeah.
His coach said that,
Yeah.
and he's been on a tear ever since. Like, for people who don't really follow CrossFit,
Yeah.
what does that even mean? Like, what is cracking the code?
Right. What does that mean?
I think for him, it's probably a combination of things.
Right.
His programming, his recovery,
Nutrition, everything.
nutrition, everything, really dialing in all the little details.
He's a smart guy.
Oh, super smart.
So I'm sure he's looking at the data,
Yeah, he's analyzing everything,
analyzing everything.
figuring out what works best for him.
And then also, he didn't do all those off-season competitions for years.
Yeah.
So I think that probably helped him stay healthy.
Yeah, definitely. And like we talked about, the PFAA,
Mm-hmm.
huge part of his decision to retire.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know, what is the PFAA?
Yeah, what do they do?
So it's like a union
Okay.
for professional CrossFit athletes.
Yeah.
They're trying to get better health care, better pay, more rights for the athletes.
So they're looking out for the athletes.
Yeah, like standardized contracts,
Okay,
bigger prize purses, stuff like that.
that's awesome. So basically, he's retiring to help make the sport better
Yeah.
for everybody.
That's it. That's the goal.
That's pretty cool.
It is. It's like he's reached this point in his career where he's like, I've accomplished a lot.
Yeah.
I can make an even bigger impact by doing this.
Yeah, and I'm sure it wasn't an easy decision for him.
No, I mean, he's at the top of his game.
Yeah, he said he feels the fittest he's ever been.
It's got to be hard to walk away from that.
Right. It's not like he's washed up or anything.
Yeah, not at all.
But it's almost like he's choosing to go out on top
Yeah.
on his own terms.
And focus on something he's really passionate about.
Yeah. It's almost like not retiring, but like a career change.
Right. A transition.
Yeah.
From athlete to advocate.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, I think that's even more impressive,
I agree. I mean, it takes a lot of courage to walk away from something you're good at.
especially when you're still at the top.
Exactly.
But I think it shows a lot about his character,
Mm-hmm.
that he's willing to put the needs of others
Yeah.
ahead of his own ambitions.
He's not just thinking about himself.
Yeah.
He's thinking about the future of the sport.
And speaking of the future, we can't forget about his last competition,
Oh, yeah. The Rogue Invitational.
the Bob Barker approach.
The Bob Barker approach, right.
Yeah. What is that?
Basically, he's saying he's just going to treat it like any other competition.
Okay.
No fanfare, no
Yeah.
special treatment.
Just business as usual.
Just business as usual, one last time.
That's awesome. I'm sure he's going to leave it all out there.
Oh, yeah.
Give it his all.
Last dance.
One last
Yeah.
dance.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to think about how he wants to be remembered. you know?
Yeah.
Like we talked about before, he said sports are just unscripted storytelling where the audience gets to interpret the meaning.
Yeah, so he's not going to try to control the narrative.
Right. It's up to us to decide
Yeah, he's just going to do his thing.
and let the chips fall where they may.
Exactly.
I think that's really cool.
It is. It's very humble.
Yeah, it's like he's saying, I trust you guys
Hmm.
to figure out what my story means.
And I think that's a really powerful message,
Yeah.
especially in today's world where everyone's trying to like curate their image.
Their perfect online persona.
Yeah, it's refreshing to see someone just be themselves.
Yeah, flaws and all.
Exactly.
And I think that's what people connect with.
Mm-hmm.
It's the realness, the authenticity.
It's the human element.
Yeah. And that's what we've tried to capture here today with Brent Fikowski.
His journey.
It's not just about the wins and losses.
The ups and downs.
The ups and downs, yeah.
The struggles, the triumphs.
It's about the man behind it all.
Mm.
And as we get ready to say goodbye to Brent Fikowski, the competitor, what do you think is next for Brent Fikowski, the person?
Oh, man. I think the sky's the limit for him.
Yeah.
He's got this passion now for the PFAA, and he's got the experience of being a CrossFit athlete at the highest level.
So he knows what it takes.
He knows the struggles. He knows the good stuff, you know.
Yeah, he's been through it all.
And now he can use that
To help others.
to help others. Exactly.
Yeah. So what specifically do you think he wants to accomplish with the PFAA?
Well, you know, they talk about creating a more sustainable career
Mm-hmm.
for athletes, and I think that boils down to a few things.
Okay. Yeah.
Better pay.
Okay, gotta start there.
Yeah, got to start with money, right?
Mm.
You know, making sure athletes are getting paid what they deserve.
Yeah.
Having standardized contracts.
So everyone knows what they're getting into.
Exactly, yeah. And then healthcare is a big one.
Yeah, that's important.
I mean, this is a really demanding sport.
Yeah, people get hurt.
People get hurt, and you got to make sure they're taken care of.
Absolutely. And also just like giving athletes more of a say
Yes.
in their own careers.
More voice.
More of a voice.
Yeah, having a seat at the table when decisions are being made.
Instead of just,
Yeah, not just being told what to do.
right, exactly.
They should have some input, right?
Mm-hmm. I think that's important. And, Fikowski, he seems like the perfect guy to lead this charge.
Oh, absolutely.
He's got the experience. He's smart. He's well-spoken.
He's charismatic.
He's charismatic, yeah.
People listen to him.
Yeah, and he's not afraid to, ruffle some feathers.
He's not afraid to speak his mind.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they need.
Mm-hmm. I think it's really cool to see him, transition from being, a competitor to, an advocate, a leader.
Yeah, using his platform to make a difference.
Yeah, it's like he's not done with CrossFit.
Not at all.
He's just finding a new way to contribute.
Exactly, yeah. It's like a new chapter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we've talked a lot about his legacy and how he doesn't want to control the narrative.
Mm.
He just wants to do his thing and let people decide what it means to them.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think? What's your biggest takeaway from his career?
I think for me, it's the resilience.
Oh, yeah.
He had those tough years early on.
Missed the games twice.
Missed the games twice.
By one spot.
And a lot of people would have just quit.
Yeah. Given up.
But he didn't.
He kept pushing.
Kept pushing, and he came back stronger.
Stronger than ever.
Yeah. And I think that's a really inspiring message.
It is.
No matter what you're going through,
Mm-hmm.
you can always bounce back.
You can always come back stronger.
And, maybe even find a new path.
Like he did.
Like he did, yeah. It's like they said, I'm just Brent.
Yeah. And just Brent has had a pretty amazing impact